Hello everyone, I hope you're all keeping well. So for Wednesday's lesson, which I'm going to post on Tuesday night, it's going to be an arithmetic lesson. So I'm going to go through a bit of an input and go through a few arithmetic things. But what I would suggest, if you're not too sure how to do something, for example, add or subtract fractions or multiply, divide fractions or column multiplication, whatever, go back and watch one of my previous videos to give yourself a little bit of a recap. Okay, so we're going to do a slightly different starter for 40-minute maths for today. We're going to do a bit of number bingo. So I am going to flick on to my next slide, and I would like you to divide your page up into 9 sections like this and write down these 9 different numbers, which are all between 1 and 40. Okay, so what I'm going to do, once you've written them down, you might want to press pause to do that, is I'm going to read out some questions, and if you think the answer to the question is one of the numbers on the grid, you can cross it off. And if you get a straight line of numbers, either a diagonal, horizontal, or vertical, shout out bingo at the screen. I'm also going to be crossing this off on my grid, which is exactly the same numbers, but so you can't see it. So if you miss a number, you don't get bingo in time, then that means that you lose. I hope that makes sense. Hopefully once we start playing it will. Okay, so here we go then. First question is 7 add 4. If I go too fast at any point, you might just want to press pause on your laptop or screen or whatever you're watching it on. Next question. 5 times 3. Next question. 15 plus 2. Next one. 13 add 11. Next question. 25 divided by 5. Next question. 8 lots of 4. So I'm going to use different mathematical language as well, so you've got to be really careful to listen. Next question. Half of 42. Next question. 17 plus 3. Next question. 63 divided by 9. Next question. The amount of lines of symmetry in a square. Next question. 3.5 multiplied by 4. Next question. The amount of lines of symmetry in a rectangle. And you should have shouted out bingo. Okay, so the numbers you should have ticked off on your grid are 32, 17, 7, 21, 24 and 2. And of course, 17, 21 and 2 are all in a line. Right, so if you've got the hang of that, or hopefully you've got the hang of it now, can you now write down these 9 numbers in a new grid? We're going to give this another bash. Okay, so question number 1. 10.5 times 2. Number 2. Half of 68. Number 3. 21 divided by 3. Next question. The number of lines of symmetry in a regular hexagon. Next question. 27 add 12. Next question. 7 less than 36. Next question. 3 times 6. Next question. 2 lots of 11. Next question. Half of 52. Next question. 0.5 times 6. Next question. 7.5 times 2. And you should have shouted out bingo. Okay, so the numbers you should have crossed off are 39, 7, 18, 15, 26 and 29. And of course the numbers in the line were 7, 18 and 15. Okay, so as I said, today is going to be an arithmetic day of questions. So let's have a look at the learning intention. Can I quickly and accurately solve arithmetic questions? Now, the important words there are quickly and accurately, because lots of you will know exactly how to do the questions, but it's about being quick and about being accurate. If you're not accurate, then obviously you won't get the question correct. So accuracy is really, really important. And do I understand that multiply and of mean the same thing? So I'm going to do a bit of an input in a second that hopefully should show you that the word of and multiply means the same. Okay, so here we've got quite a straightforward fraction of an amount problem. So 2/5 of 20. Now hopefully you should know that to find a fraction of amount, you divide by the denominator, and then whatever your answer is, you then multiply by the numerator. So 20 divided by 5 is 4, and then 4 times 2 is 8. So 2/5 of 20 is 8. Now, as I said before, I'm going to try and demonstrate that the word of and the word multiply mean the same thing. So here's a multiplying fractions type question. So if I had 2/5 times 20, well, let's change 20 into 20 over 1, because we know what that is as a fraction. Now 2 times 20 is 40. And 5 times 1 is 5. So 2/5 of 20 is 40 over 5. Sorry, 2/5 times 20 is 40 over 5. Now, I said to you that I was going to prove that of and times mean the same thing. So is 40 over 5 the same as 8? Well, if we were to, this is an improper fraction at the moment, and if we were to turn that into a mixed number, you'd see how many times 5 goes into 40. So if you know your 5 times table, you should know that 5 goes into 40 8 times. And in fact, it's not a mixed number, it's just a whole number because there's no fraction left over. Okay, so I'm going to go off a little bit of a tangent here, and I just wondered if anybody knew what 2/5 would be as a percentage. Well, first of all, let's turn our 2/5 into tenths. So can you turn your 2/5 into tenths? Well, hopefully you'd know that if you multiplied both of these by 2, it would make 4/10. And 4/10, can you turn those into hundredths? Because of course percentage means out of 100. So 4/10 is the same as 40 hundredths, because if you both times them by 10, and 40 hundredths is obviously the same as 40%. Okay, so there was a little bit of a reason why I wanted to convert my 2/5 into a percentage, because following that method, if 2/5 is the same as 40%, then surely 40% of 20 will also be 8, because 2/5 of 40 was 8. So let's have a look. So if just a reminder, to find 10%, you divide by 10. So 10% is 2. We don't want 10%, we want 40%. So I'm going to multiply that 10% by 4 to make 40%, or I could do a column addition with 4 lots of 10%, still get the same answer, which should be 8. So what's 40% as a decimal? So if I did a 40% times 20, well, 40% as a decimal is 0.4. So let's do a quick column multiplication of 20 times 0.4. Well, 0 times 4 is 0. 2 times 4 is 8. There's one number after the decimal point, so I'm going to count one place back to make 8.0. So that would be 8. Okay, so I just want to go through a little bit of BODMAS as well before we start off with our arithmetic. So BODMAS is about order of operations, which means you do certain operations before other ones. And when I say operations, I'm talking about the add, subtract, multiply and divide, and also brackets, anything in brackets. So BODMAS stand for brackets, so anything in brackets you go first, division and multiplication you'll do next, and then addition and subtraction you do last. So let's have a look at this first one. 6 adds 7 times 3. So because that's a multiply, you do that before you would add the 6. I like just to write it underneath, it just reminds me. So I do the 7 times 3. You can even cross it out if you want to, if it helps. And then you can just do 6 add 21, which makes 27. Let's have a look at the next one. 25 subtract 3 times 2 add 7. Well, we know the bit in brackets is the most important, so I'm going to do that bit first. So 3 plus 2 is 5, so I'll do that underneath. Put a little line for it. You can use that again. And then we just do it in order because it's a subtraction and addition. So 25 subtract 5 makes 20, add 7, also makes 27. Let's have a look at the next one. 4 times 3, add 2 times 12. So the multiplications is obviously more important than the addition, so I'm going to do those two first. I'll do this one first because it comes first. So 4 times 3 makes 12. 12 times 2 makes 24. Dodgy 4 there. So I'm just going to do 12, add 24, which makes 36. And last one, 2 times 3 squared. Also, if you have a 3 cubed, if you have a square or a cube number, you do that bit first. So 3 cubed is 3 times 3 is 9, and 9 times 3 is 27. Put a little line through that. And then 2 times 27 is 54. Okay, so here's your questions for today. So press pause now, and then I'm going to start wiping away the answers before I go on to the next lot of questions. Okay, so here we go with wiping away the answers. Okay, so next lot of questions. Press pause now so you can crack them on your own. If not, I'm going to wipe away the answers. That 2 over 28, you could have simplified that down to 1 over 14. Okay, so I'm going to go on to the last lot. So press pause now if you want to crack it on your own. I guess if you answered that one as an improper fraction, it would be 121 over 30, I believe, off the top of my head, 4 times 30. This is one of those multiplying fractions by whole numbers. You could have had 14, but if you'd answered it as an improper fraction, it would be 70 over 5. Always a good idea when you've got a really, really top heavy fraction like that, 70 over 5, to simplify it down, to turn it into a whole number. Okay, and there are all your answers for today. Okay, so here is your best in the business bonus question. So press pause if you want to crack it. If not, I'm going to go through it on my own. So let's have a look at that top row. We know 3 of these parts added together make 30. So 30 divided by 3, you should have worked out that each of these are 10. Now when I get these sorts of questions, I actually just like to write the number there. Helps me remember what it is. So 10, 10, and we know that one's 10 as well. Cool. So we now know that this one is 10 as well. Okay, so 10 add something equals 20. So we know these two added together have got to make 10. So one of them would be 5. So these are going to be 5 each, which means this is 5 and this is 5 also. Okay, so 5 add something makes 9. So we know the difference between 5 and 9 is 4. So these all together make 4. So one of them is going to make 2. That's 2. That's 2. Oh, and we know this one is 10. Okay, so let's have a look at this one at the bottom. So we know 2 of these things are 2, but there's not 2 there. There's just one of them there. So one of them is going to be 1. And also, if you look at the bottom, we've got a little bit of BODMAS here. So we know we need to do the multiplying first and then add the 5 on together. So 1 times 10 is 10, and add on 5 makes 15. Okay, so I hope you all got an okay with everything today. I just want to say a big hello to all the Lowbrook pupils, all the Holy Trinity pupils, especially my Lowbrook 6G class. I hope you're all keeping well and you've all got into Google Classroom okay. Apart from that, stay safe, be good for your parents, and I'll catch you soon.